The Plants Museum, Afanasy. The history of brewery in Tver dates back to the year 1887, when the Austrian Emil Saltinsky founded the first brewery in the town on the bank of the Tverza River. It was called later the Tver Bavaria. In January 1973, there was a beginning of building a new brewery plant in Tver. The first beer was brewed on the 11th of January 1976. That sort of beer was called after its smooth taste barkhatная. But after all, the date of birth of the brewery plant is considered the 1st of April 1976. Even that time, the alliance of the main plant, the old Kalininsky and the old Dorzhevsky brewery plants were formed. From that date, the history of Afanasy has been running. In the years 2002-2006, the company experienced very hard times. An unfriendly attempt of an illegal takeover of property was made that period, but our company stood up for the rights of its property. Nowadays, Afanasy is one of a few companies considered as completely independent in Russia. It is rightly proud of high-quality products. In December 2002, the beer Afanasy Premium was manufactured in PET packaging. In 2003, the used beer 6 came in the market. In February 2004, Afanasy Ultra Premium appeared. It was brewed in accordance with the best traditions of Tver brewery. In spring of 2005, a new beer, Afanasy Gold Premium, was developed. Since February of 2005, Afanasy has been pleasing the customers with a live beer. It is a unique product which is notable not only for its flavor or taste, but for its useful properties. The company takes a great care of modernization of manufacturing processes. A large-scale reconstruction began in the late 1998. It has changed a lot since that time. The production areas were reconstructed. New equipment was installed in the workshops. New contracts for purchasing of valuable technologies were concluded, and many processes were automatized. Afanasy has transformed into a large holding lately which is developing new products markets. It doesn't concern only beer. It includes iodinated water, kvass, fruit drinks, milk, snacks and sweets. Our company is growing up and developing with its native town together. Acceptance of barley. Raw materials used at the plant Afanasy are only of high quality. It arrives in special railway carriages and trucks. As delivered, the barley is carefully examined and directed to the silo bins by elevators for custody. An elevator is a building which height is comparable with one of 14-floored block of flats. In the elevator, the grain is stored until it is used for preparing malt. Malt boxes. In the malt boxes, so-called malt heaps, the grain is sprouting. Each malt heap consists of 80 tons of grain. Wet grain is spread over the heaps and it is growing up at 13-20 degrees and humidity of 40-44%. As other plants barely needs keeping warm and wet. Besides, grain is continuously mixed by special agitating machine for oxygenation and its growth control. The employees are taking control over keeping a temperature and humidity in working area, which are controlled with measurement instruments. So the grain is processed until a sprout appears in it and the roots are outside of it. They are removed in a germ-separating machine. This process lasts 6 days. Water treatment. At the brewery process, when non-alcoholic drinks or low-alcoholic drinks are prepared, water is the main component and the most important technological material, which ensures either the production process or quality of a finished product. To ensure that the water meets the technological requirements, different ways of water treatment are used. The section of water treatment is supplied with water from artesian chin. At the first stage, the water water is purified coming through 3 sand filters, 2 carbon filters and membrane filters. In the sand filters, suspended particles are separated. Carbon filter purifies water of chemical and organic substances. First of all, choline and its compounds, as well as pesticides, petroleum products, heavy metals, dissolved iron, and other organic and inorganic substances. Water subjected to activated carbon filters acquires a certain taste. Next, the water passes through special membrane filter pack alone. In the second stage, the water enters the reverse osmosis membranes, which are designed for deep cleaning, desalination and reduction of water mineralization. After the cleaning process, treated water is pumped through the pipeline in a special container with a capacity of 60,000 liters, each of where it is stored until it is used for beer brewing. Brewing room. Brewing room is the heart of plant Afanasy. Even here the taste of beer is created. Now we are watching a mash to be prepared. The mash is a mixture of crushed malt with water in a certain proportion, which occurs during gradual heating. Next, prepared mash is pumped into a filter tank. The liquid portion of the mash is separated from the solid part, grains. The crushed part is directed to livestock, while the wort collected in the filtration process is pumped into the wort kettle. The wort has a nice sweet taste of liquid bread. In the kettle, it is boiled with the addition of natural granulated hops. Changing the proportion of hops and malt, we get different sorts of beer. The hopped wort is separated from the insoluble residues of hops in the hydrocyclone and then directed to the area of cooling the wort, where the plate heat exchanger is located. With its help, we reduce the temperature of wort from 90 degrees up to 7-degrees and separate it with oxygen. Oxygen is necessary for the reproduction of yeast. Next, the cooled wort goes to the fermentation state in cylindrical conical tanks. Cylinder conical tanks. The cooled wort is pumped into huge 9-floored high cylindrical tanks. This is a tank with a capacity of 285,000 liters, which the yeast is put into the wort. Yeast absorbs sugars of the wort, so it produces alcohol. As a result of fermentation, we have a drink which is directed to secondary fermentation, lagering stage. In the process of fermentation, the yeast is settled to the bottom and it is pumped into the yeast tanks for subsequent reuse. At the brewery plant, the yeast is used 4 times, 4 generations. After yeast, skimming beer is not still ready. It is being cooled and directed to the stage of cold conditioning. We adhere to the classical technology. The duration of the processes of fermentation and end fermentation last from 21 to 34 days depending on the sorts of beer. Afanasy produces beer for every taste. Some sorts of brewed using filtering process, but we also produce live beer. Afanasy rightly calls the beer to be produced a live beer because after end fermentation it is immediately directed to the bottling room, bypassing filtration and pasteurization. Thus, beer Afanasy contains living cells of the beer yeast. Brewer's yeast is an effective means of facilitating the body's resistance to infections, improving its tone and overall well-being. It improves health, strengthens immunity and resistance to fatigue and stress. After that, beer is directed through a special reservoir to the bottling room. Racking cellar. There are some areas for filling beer in glass bottles, PET bottles and in kegs, metal containers with a capacity from 10 to 50 liters at the Afanasy plant. The racking cellar is divided into a few sectors. One of them is a sector for washing glass bottles, and other one is used for manufacturing of PET bottles with blow molding machine. Further, the bottles are directly filled with beer. The bottle labels are pasted with a labeling machine. In the bottling cellar, beer is also pasteurized. Pasteurization is a process of heating the beer up to 72 degrees in about 40 seconds in a special apparatus and further cooling. The advantage of pasteurization is that it inhibits the ability of microorganisms to reproduce, and the beer retains its flavor properties. Bottles filled with beer undergo quality inspections, and then they are directed to the labeling machine. The bottle labels with the name of a sort of beer are pasted here. The dates of bottling are printed at the labels with a special printing machine. The finished products are packed in the heat-seal packaging. Logistics. The Afanasy plant has a logistics system called Store Airport. The trucks arrive to the operator's counter for loading in accordance with the timetable displayed on the special board. Beer is delivered by trucks over 40 regions of Russia and CIS countries. As Afanasy manufactures live beer, natural product with shelf period of 7 days, is flawless logistics the most important part of quality assurance. All the trucks are equipped with refrigerators maintaining temperature at 5 degrees. Degustation room. At present, our plant is manufacturing about 20 unique sorts of beer. Almost all the samples of beer are present in front of you. The taste properties of all beer sorts are different. Someone likes dark beer, so the best choice for you is a dark sort porter. For light beer drinkers is Домашняя of great taste. Unfiltered beer is also in great demand. This is a really useful and tasty product. The quality and naturalness of beer you can check just pouring it in a glass. According to the rules of beer brewing, foam in the glass must be rich, compact and stable with a minimum height of 4 cm, a resistance of not less than 4 minutes with sample and slow liberation of gas bubbles. At the degustation, the taste and aroma of beer are also appreciated. It should have the aroma and flavor of a fermented malt beverage with a hopped hue and odor-free. It means that the beer was manufactured of natural ingredients under strict control at all stages of production, from the germination of malt and ending with bottle. Many people argue about how to drink beer. Some people prefer to consume it with snacks, nuts, and other ones love to eat salty fish. There are those who are enjoying beer because of its taste without snacks. There is no consensus on its issue. Most important is that beer should be served sufficiently and cold, and the process of beer drinking should be really enjoyable.